December 2023, Kyiv, Ukraine. An ATM suddenly starts up and starts spitting out cash all over the sidewalk. Someone walking by grabs the money, completely shocked. No alarms going off, no explosions, just free money in the middle of the night. By sunrise, dozens of ATMs from New York to Barcelona are completely emptied out. Bank records show $1 billion is missing, but all the machines are still locked up. One single email, 3 clicks, $1 billion gone. How did a normal waitress turn a rented laptop into the biggest bank hack in history? And how safe is your money really? By day, Maksym Yakubets cleans tables at a modest café in Ukraine, earning pocket change and tips. By night, he's Aqua, an obscure coder immersed in the dark corners of the internet. Tips don't pay rent. So every night, Yakubets teaches himself to hack. He isn't interested in stealing credit card numbers or hacking email accounts. He's thinking bigger. In 2013, banks are considered fortresses of finance. Breaking into one is supposed to require guns, masks, and a getaway car. Yakubets is about to prove otherwise. No guns, no masks, no getaway car, just code. But will it work or blow up in his face? He's heard rumors of a leaked malware source code, something called Carbanak, a notorious bank Trojan whose developers slipped up and lost control of their creation. To Yakubets, that leak is an opportunity. He tinkers for weeks. The Carbanak code becomes something new, something deadly. Line by line, he builds a skeleton key that opens any bank. He names it Carbanak, a bland name that will soon make history. But naming malware is easy. The real question, could a cafe waiter actually break banks without getting arrested? At first, Yakubets tests Carbanak, probing small local financial networks. In his basement, green text reflects in his eyes. His first bank breach takes seconds. Too easy. But wait, if it's this easy, why isn't everyone doing it? The results exceed even his expectations. Carbanak slips past every defense, opening a secret back door into bank servers. The young waiter realizes he's struck gold, digital gold. But to truly cash in on this discovery, he needs a crew and a plan. He starts assembling a small team of confidants, some fellow Eastern European tech genius annoyed with their day jobs, others seasoned hackers recruited from shady forums. With Carbanak as their ace, they're ready to take on bigger prey. Yakubets, once serving customers dounce and coffee, is now serving up a recipe for what investigators would later call the great bank robbery of the digital age. And he's just getting started. But here's the question that kept investigators up at night. How does a waiter with zero connections get inside 100 banks without anyone noticing? The plan begins with an inoffensive email. Yakubets crafts it carefully. A polite cover letter, a solid resume attached, all the hallmarks of a genuine job applicant. He targets the weakest links in the chain, bank employees. Late 2013, one such email pings into a branch manager's inbox at a European bank. She sees an application for a vacancy she did advertise. Nothing seems weird. With a click, she opens the attached document and unknowingly opens the door to her bank's network. Carbanak springs to life on her PC, installing itself silently. In the next few days, similar emails arrive at banks across Russia, Ukraine, Germany. The crew is casting their net wide. But how long can they hide before someone notices a zombie cursor? Many messages are ignored or caught in spam filters, but it only takes one careless click per target. As soon as an employee takes the bait, Carbanak burrows in and begins its reconnaissance. Yakubets and his crew now have a foothold inside multiple financial institutions. They move deliberately, like burglars tiptoeing through a mansion at night. Carbanak doesn't announce itself. It lurks, watching and recording. The malware has a startling capability. It can hijack webcams and secretly record screens on infected machines. For weeks, they watch. Sometimes months. The hackers see everything. Every password typed, every transfer made, virtually looking over their shoulders. They study how employees log into cash transfer systems, how they schedule big transactions, even how they load ATMs with fresh cash. It's the digital equivalent of casing a vault, all done from thousands of miles away. And the bank employees have no clue they've got invisible visitors on their PCs. The more Yakubets observes, the bolder his plan becomes. With enough intel, he intends to become the invisible insider. Why crack a safe when you can simply learn the combination and walk right in? His crew identifies prime targets within each bank: the officers who control wire transfers, the technicians who manage ATM networks, the database admins who oversee account balances. Carbanak quietly hops from the initially infected PC to those critical systems, a leapfrog through the network. Each move is calculated and camouflaged by mimicking normal employee behavior. If a bank's IT department notices a login at 2 a.m., they dismiss it as a routine update, because Carbanak cleverly masks its activity. The hackers wait and wait, sometimes for months, no alarms, no suspicion. Every screenshot prepares them for the big payday. Then Yakubets spots something worth $1 billion, a pattern everyone else missed. As Yakubets orchestrates this slow-motion break-in, the question isn't if they will strike, but when. The pieces are in place. At 2:47 a.m. Moscow time, Yakubets types 3 words: begin the harvest. But how do you steal $1 billion without touching a single vault? 2 months into the operation, Carbanak has expanded into more than 100 banks and financial institutions across 30 countries. Yakubets' crew now holds the equivalent of each bank's master key. It's time to cash out, quite literally. The attacks begin almost simultaneously in early 2014, hitting bank after bank in a blitz, but not the kind of smash-and-grab heist you'd see in a Hollywood film. These crimes unfold quietly through computer terminals and security cameras. At bank number 1, a clerk watches in confusion as her cursor starts moving on its own, initiating a large funds transfer she didn't authorize. In another country, the accounting system shows a baffling $5 million expense that no one can explain. Across continents, ATMs mysteriously spit out stacks of cash at preset times with no card inserted. On city streets, money mules, petty criminals hired by Yakubets casually walk up to these machines at the appointed hour, grab the money, and vanish into the night. In all cases, the banks only realize something is very wrong hours or days later. Yakubets has choreographed the chaos with precision. One tactic the crew uses is to inflate account balances and then siphon off the surplus. For example, an account that normally holds $1,000 is magically altered to show $10,000. The hackers then promptly transfer $9,000 out to offshore accounts under their control. In other cases, they exploit the holy grail of global banking, SWIFT, the system banks use to move money worldwide. With stolen credentials, they send rapid-fire SWIFT messages moving millions into shell companies and dummy accounts, a method that's nearly untraceable. By the time any red flags pop up, the money has already hopped through enough foreign banks that recovery is a lost cause. And when remote transfers won't do, they still have the ATM cash-out trick as a backup. It's a multi-pronged attack: fake accounts, fraudulent wire transfers, automated ATM heists. Carbanak has an answer for every defense. For the banks, it's a nightmare unfolding in slow motion. Imagine coming into work to find your ledgers don't add up, and security footage shows cash flying out of ATMs as if possessed. No one is sure how it's happening. Bank bosses huddle in panic. They replay the security footage again and again. Nothing makes sense. The human cost? Devastating. But you haven't heard the worst part yet. IT teams scramble to find the malfunction in their systems, initially unwilling to say the word hacker. But as the pattern emerges across institutions and news quietly reaches cybersecurity experts, the realization sets in: they are under attack by an unprecedented, invisible bank robber. In total, the crew's take is approaching $1 billion, a heist so audacious that Kaspersky's researchers half-jokingly predicted it would inspire a movie. The once penniless waiter, Maksym Yakubets, is watching balances surge in accounts he controls, effectively printing money out of thin air. Yet many of the victimized banks stay silent, too embarrassed to go public. This suits Yakubets just fine. The less publicity, the longer he can keep the con running. But large sums have a way of drawing large attention. Law enforcement agencies around the world are now on the case. Police close in, but Yakubets has one more card to play. And this one? It involves the Russian government. Here's the twist. What if the world's most wanted hacker was actually untouchable? And what if he knew it? Early 2015. Detective Petrov can't sleep. His mom's retirement savings gone, vanished in the hack. He makes it personal. When bank officials in Kiev finally contact cybersecurity firm Kaspersky Lab, Petrov volunteers for the case. Then, a team of bank officials in Kiev finally admits the unthinkable. We think we've been robbed by malware. It's the break investigators have been waiting for. Experts from Kaspersky, Interpol, Europol, the FBI, a whole alphabet soup of agencies form a joint task force and start tracing the Carbanak trail. The hunt begins in Ukraine, where the first ATM oddities were spotted, and then moves to Moscow, following breadcrumbs left by the hackers. Every piece of malicious code, every illicit transaction, offers a clue. The team finds that the attackers often communicated with the bank's infected computers via command and control servers around the globe. By painstakingly tracking those servers and analyzing malware timestamps, the investigators begin to map out the gang's infrastructure, and it leads to some good discoveries. One lucky break comes when analysts poring over server logs notice something odd, a connection from an IP address that shouldn't be there. A misconfigured router in the criminals' network had leaked a trace of real location data. That single slip is enough to trace back to a luxury condo in the heart of Moscow. Could it be the mastermind's hideout? Local police can't simply storm in. This is Russian soil, beyond the reach of Western warrants. But the clue is electrifying. 3 years pass. The trail goes cold. But one detective makes it personal. His mom lost her savings in the hack. Then a break. Spanish police storm a sunny Alicante apartment. 20 officers, one target. In March 2018, they arrest a dazed Ukrainian man known only as Dennis K. Spanish authorities, and Europol hail him as the head of the Carbanak syndicate, the very coder who wrote its malware. For a moment, it looks like the case might be closed. The infamous cyber bandits brought to justice at last. But back in Moscow, Maksym Yakubets watches news of the Alicante arrest with a smile. Dennis K. may have been a technical genius in the operation, but Yakubets knows the true puppet master is still at large. He's looking at him in the mirror. The Spanish takedown is a blow to the Carbanak crew, but not the end of the story. Yakubets and his remaining associates simply adapt. They destroy old hard drives, abandon servers, and lay low online. With the evidence gathered, the United States issues indictments and sanctions. In December 2019, Yakubets is charged in absentia, and a $5 million bounty is placed on his head. It's the largest reward ever offered for a cyber criminal. Yet despite being unmasked and under intense scrutiny, Yakubets seems untouchable. How is that possible? The answer lies in where he is now, and who he knows. Picture an opulent mansion on Moscow's outskirts, with marble columns and a cool Lamborghini parked out front. The license plate on the car reads Vor, Russian for thief. It's not a joke, it's a brazen boast. This is Maksym Yakubets' home. After the Carbanak spree, he's living like a minor oligarch, partying at exclusive clubs, keeping exotic pets, even marrying into money. And what investigators discovered was surreal. The wedding wasn't just expensive. The guest list read like a who's who of Russian intelligence. FSB colonels, cyber warfare specialists, even the father-in-law, former special forces. Suddenly, the protection made sense. Yakubets wasn't just hiding in Russia, he'd become an asset. In December 2019, the FBI makes their move. They can't touch him, but they can expose him. They release everything: his photo, his address, even his daily routine. The $5 million bounty goes live. News crews camp outside his mansion. But Yakubets, he posts an Instagram story from his hot tub. The caption, "Thanks for making me famous." He's no longer the waiter worrying about rent. He's a multimillionaire who flaunts his wealth. The deal is simple: rob foreigners' banks, stay free in Russia. Yakubets takes it, protected by spies, untouchable by law. Then something unexpected happens. January 2020, a Ukrainian businessman lands in Moscow. He's carrying bank codes worth $40 million. Within hours, those codes are used. The money vanishes, and the businessman is found drugged in a hotel. Security footage shows a familiar face, one of Yakubets' crew members. The Carbanak gang isn't retired. They've evolved. He's still active, still hacking, still winning. Now, there are things banks don't want you to know. Since Carbanak, there have been 17 similar attacks. Different names, same methods. Goznym, Drydex, Evil Corp, each one more sophisticated. And investigators keep finding the same digital signatures, the same Moscow IP addresses, the same untouchable masterminds. Yakubets didn't just rob banks. He started a school, March 2023, a cybersecurity conference in London. A presenter shows a live map of current bank intrusions. Red dots bloom across the screen. These are active Carbanak-style attacks, he says. Right now, as we speak, the audience goes silent. In the back row, a banking executive texts his team. Emergency meeting. Now, October 2024. Breaking news. A private jet bound for Dubai makes an emergency landing in Turkey. Among the passengers, a man matching Yakubets' description. Interpol scrambles units. Turkish police surround the plane. But when they board, the seat is empty. The passport? Fake. Someone tipped him off. He's still 10 steps ahead. Right now, as you watch this, Maksym Yakubets is probably at his Moscow mansion. Maybe coding the next Carbanak. Maybe training the next generation of digital bank robbers. The waiter who couldn't afford rent now runs an empire built on stolen billions. And here's the thing that keeps bankers awake. They know he's out there. They know he's active. They've rebuilt their entire security infrastructure, spent billions on defenses. But they also know the truth. They're fighting yesterday's war. Because somewhere, another waiter, another frustrated coder, another nobody is creating another malware. Spreading, evolving. The question isn't whether the next billion-dollar hack will happen, it's whether it's happening right now.